Electoral bond is a burning topic these days. Let us understand electoral bonds in details and what caused controversy around it. In modern democracy, financing of political parties plays an important role in defining political campaign and related activities. Earlier political parties were funded by individuals and corporations, where most of the donations were in cash and were supposed to have certain vested interests. Indian government introduced electoral bond scheme in Finance Bill of 2017 and implemented it in the year 2018. Its main motive was to cleanse and reform the political funding system, promote transparency, and ensure integrity of electoral processes. The then Finance Minister, late Mr. Arun Jaitley, proposed the electoral bond scheme in the Lok Sabha in his Union Budget speech of 2017 to 2018. And mentioned the reason for bringing up such scheme: one, reluctance in donating by check or other transparent methods, and two, to protect them from having to disclose their identity and entail adverse consequences. Here we will discuss what are electoral bonds, how they were introduced, their working mechanism, their advantages and criticism. Electoral bonds were introduced as a financial instrument for donating money to political parties, which was earlier done mostly in cash form. The introduction of electoral bond allowed donors to donate money in electronic form so as to bring transparency to the political party's funding system in India. Let's learn about the features described by the Government of India regarding the electoral bonds. 1. Electoral bonds are interest-free bearer instrument and would be considered as promissory note. Any Indian citizen or corporation registered in India will be eligible to purchase the electoral bond. 2. These bonds will be issued as the multiples of rupees 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 10,000 and 1,000 at specified branches of State Bank of India. 3. The purchaser will be allowed to buy the bonds only after filling KYC form and through a bank account, but no name shall be entered on the instrument. That means KYC is fulfilled, and anonymity is also maintained at the same time. 4. The bond can be encashed by an eligible political party only through a designated bank account with the authorized bank. That means any random party can't encash the bond from anywhere. 5. Regarding the political party to be eligible to get the donation through electoral bond, the condition was laid that the political party should be a registered one under Section 29A of the Representation of the People's Act, 1951, and would have got at least 1% vote in the previous election of Lok Sabha, or a legislative assembly. That refers new political parties can't avail donation under this scheme. 6. Electoral bonds will have a life of 15 days only, within which donation has to be made. 7. Political parties can't receive cash donations more than Rs 2,000, which is a 10% reduction to the limit of Rs 20,000. 8. The previous cap, limiting the corporate of donating up to 7.5% of the net profits of preceding 3 years, stands cancelled. Let us check how electoral bond is different from a normal financial bond. Electoral bonds aren't actually financial bonds in general, but financial instruments which are more like a bearer banking instrument. It means they are payable to bearer on demand and do not carry payee's name. 1. Electoral bond was issued only for funding political parties in India and are interest-free, whereas a financial bond, or generally known as bond, is a debt instrument by which the issuers raise fund for their businesses from the market. That means the investors of financial bond lend money to the bond issuer, which isn't the case in electoral bond, where it's considered as a donation to political parties. 2. Electoral bonds are interest-free, but financial bond bear interest, except zero coupon bond, and is payable to the investor at regular intervals till the specified time. 3. Electoral bonds are issued for 10 days in each quarter of the year, whereas financial bond doesn't have such specific time for issuance. 4. Electoral bonds were supposed to be redeemed within 15 days of its issuance, whereas financial bond gets redeemed after the completion of its term.
5. Electoral bonds are anonymous, means the name and other information of the donors aren't mentioned on the instrument, and its holder is assumed as its owner. Working mechanism of electoral bond. Specific branches of State Bank of India were engaged to issue electoral bonds. Whoever wanted to be the donor approached notified banks to purchase the bond through check or digital payment. Thus, the identity of the donors is protected. The donor was required to donate these bonds to the political party of their choice. The political party must encash these bonds into the account registered with the Election Commission. The ECI will allot a verified account to the party, through which all electoral bond transactions will be made.
So, in a way, the procedure was almost legal. Eligibility to purchase the electoral bond. Any Indian citizen and entity established in India are eligible to purchase electoral bond from the specific branches of State Bank of India. It can be purchased individually or as a group of individuals. But only KYC complaint accounts were allowed to donate to a political party. The following persons established in India can purchase an electoral bond: a Hindu undivided family, Church; 2. A company or a firm, 3. An association of persons, 4. Artificial juridical person and office, agency or branch controlled by them. Documents required for buying electoral bonds are: 1. Application form and pay-in slip, 2. Copy of citizenship proof, 3. KYC documents. If any other bank account was dealing, the prospective donor has to submit specific forms, as mentioned on SBI website, which would declare the source of funds on the letterhead of the branch, duly signed and stamped by the branch manager, is required. Advantages of electoral bonds. 1. Since electoral bond compulsorily has to be redeemed by a bank account disclosed by the ECI, there is less chance of malpractice. 2. Electoral bonds will fund only those registered parties which have got at least 1% of the votes in the previous election, so no political party can be created only to collect fund from the public. 3. Electoral bonds are purchased either through DD, check or digital banking, making the process safer and transparent, as these bonds can be redeemed only through designated bank accounts. No cash transactions means less chance of black money getting involved in the process, and the anonymity of donor is also protected. 4. Electoral bonds operate within set guidelines, a legal framework, and the amount donated through electoral bonds is reported by political parties to the Election Commission of India. 5. These bonds are valid only for 15 days, so the money collected can't be hoarded or misused. 6. Only genuine political parties who have won at least 1% vote in previous election can accept funding through this process. 7. Electoral bond donations are tax-exempt under Section 80GG and Section 80GGB of Income Tax Act, 1961. Political parties can receive donations as per the provisions of Section 13A of the Income Tax Act. 8. Since the donors are anonymous, they are safe from getting political backlash, as no one will get to know whom they have donated. But this electoral bond scheme is facing several criticisms as well. 1. Since the donors' names are anonymous, no one knows who is funding which political parties. Also, it is being seen as the absence of and accountability. 2. Many are questioning the source of funds being used by the donors. 3. Supreme Court and the Reserve Bank of India are questioning about the transparency and traceability aspects. The KYC information lies only with the issuing custodian bank, State Bank of India, and since it is a public sector bank, it is speculated that the ruling government will have access to the donors' information. 4. It is being speculated that donors might seek favor from the political parties, but it's just a possibility. Nothing has been confirmed about it. Supreme Court's decision in determining the legality and transparency of the electoral bond has triggered a bigger debate.
but many part of it are speculation possibilities. Alternatives for political funding needs to be searched and introduced so as to maintain a clean, transparent political funding system. The information provided in this video has been collected from various sources. We do not claim ownership on it. Thank you for tuning in. Your engagement fuels our creativity. If you want to see more awesome stuff, don't forget to like and subscribe.